Yo, what's going on, my people? It's your boy Crooks the Great, and I'm back at you guys with another UFC 5 video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a couple of things that I hope are addressed in the next big patch for UFC 5. Now, I'm not going to be touching on every single thing that I think is wrong with UFC 5. I'm going to be honing it into a couple of things that I hope I see are addressed in the next patch for UFC 5. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first thing that I hope is addressed, and that is the stamina. The stamina system was touched on in a patch, in a smaller patch that did drop for UFC 5 earlier in the month, or late October, early November, but it still needs to be worked on. We're still having a crap ton of strikes being thrown in fights, and it's really outrageous how much stamina people are still having with throwing a crap ton of shots, man. So I'm hoping they address this in the next patch. Something that I hope is that they're leaning towards with addressing in terms of the stamina is the shots on block. Now, for those of you guys that are newer to the game, whiffs obviously are going to, when somebody whiffs a strike, it's going to take a fair amount of stamina away from you, as it should. But the shots on block have its own stamina drain. And I feel like that's what they need to address. People are throwing an exorbitant amount of shots on the block, and that's what's saving a lot of their stamina. So if they nerf this just a little bit and make the shots on block take more stamina, I feel like this is what is going to decrease the amount of shots thrown in fights. Because you guys have seen it, for those of you guys that watch my stream, and maybe you've seen it in an online fight for yourself, people are throwing like 130 to 140 and even up to 150 strikes a round with guys that are not, with fighters that are not known for being volume strikers. And that to me is kind of ridiculous, man. It really is. It makes for more block breaking, so this would address the block breaking issue as well. It makes for, you know, just not a very fun experience. So I hope really that they're trying to address this specifically with the stamina system, so that way, you know, it's a little bit more of a realistic feeling to the game. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be in the comment section saying, Crooks, this game don't feel realistic. I get it, but, and I'm not one for like complete realism, but a little bit more of a realistic feel to UFC 5. So the second thing that I hope that they are addressing in the next patch is going to be the tracking. Tracking obviously is one of the biggest issues that the community is facing right now. It's starting to get a little bit ridiculous, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm hoping they do address it somewhat. I know this might not be a one patch thing, so I'm hoping they start off by addressing it with this patch, and it just incrementally gets better with later patches, as well as the stamina system. These two things go hand in hand with multiple patch fixes. So I'm looking to see, hey, you know what, are they addressing it? What are they doing to try to combat tracking issues in the game? And what are the devs saying more specifically when they do the patch note breakdowns and how they went about addressing it? Because if they don't address this game is going to be a little bit, it's going to be a really big problem, and people are going to get tired of getting caught with shots that they've slipped or that they've ducked and they've made the correct reads, man. It's ridiculously frustrating. So I'm hoping that they're addressing tracking issues heading into the next big patch. The third thing that I hope that they are addressing in the next patch is double leg bails. Now, double leg bailing, I kind of gave it a break in my What's Wrong with UFC 5 video, because I realized the takedown system it leaves a lot to be desired, and it's not as good as it probably should be in the game. But the double leg bailing, it's gotten out of hand, man. If you guys have watched my streams, as well as a lot of other content creator streams, people are just double leg bailing pretty much every second of the fight if they can. You know what I mean? They're building game plans around the double leg bails, which is incredibly frustrating if you're trying to fight in a legit way in UFC 5. Now, I know a lot of people were saying, hey, Crooks, you gotta give people breaks, man. They're trying to get it to the ground. And I understand that, but double leg bailing somebody 17 times in a round is really ridiculous. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's really, really ridiculous, man. So they need to cap the stamina like they did with the single leg bail in UFC 4. Make it to where you need to have a 50% stamina advantage over your opponent to get the double leg bails like the single leg bail is. Honestly, I really hope that they address it. Now, I know it's going to make for a crappier time because takedowns need to be adjusted. And that's what's going to lead me into the fourth thing that I hope is that they're addressing. And that is making takedowns a little bit more viable in UFC 5. So with the double leg bail being patched out, we need to have better takedowns, easier ways to get takedowns in UFC 5. And I know I've addressed this with the What's Wrong with UFC 5 video, and I kind of gave a solution. And I hope they've heeded the solution because I got it from a very, very credible guy in Romero. And I'm hoping that they run with the idea of letting GA stack up on missed shots. So for those of you guys that don't know what I mean by that, if you miss a two-piece combination, each shot should have its own GA given up if you whiff. So if you miss a jab, maybe a 5% GA advantage you give up to your opponent. If you miss a straight, maybe give up 10% GA. So if you miss a jab straight, you're giving up 15% GA to your opponent. And that's what's going to make the takedowns easier for you guys in UFC 5. So I'm hoping they run with the idea that I talked about in my video and that Romero talked about in his video, and they can implement it into the game so that way takedowns will be easier and we won't have people having to go to cheesing to initiate grappling and getting it to the ground. But alright guys, those are the things that I hope are addressed in the patch. Let me know in the comment section, what are you guys hoping is addressed in the patch for UFC 5? And let me know all kinds of it, in the stand-up, in the clinch, in the on the ground, the takedowns. What I want to hear your guys' opinions. I love hearing the community's opinions on what they think, because the more stuff we can find, the more stuff we can get the devs to address. You feel what I'm saying? So hopefully, even if it's not addressed in this patch, it'll be addressed in further patches. But that's it for the video, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to slap that subscribe button as well as slap that like button. If you do like UFC 5 content, then this is the channel for you, because I do post UFC 5 content on this channel daily, as well as stream UFC 5 as well. So make sure y'all slap that subscribe button and slap that like button before you head out. But until the next video, guys, take it easy, be safe, enjoy the rest of your guys' day, afternoon, evening, depending on where you guys are watching this from. And I will see you guys in the next video.